What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are, and whatever time it is, and welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersiaholic. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another online battle for the divided Impera of Vermont for Total War Rome 2. In fact, this is the 31st online battle that we'll be posting on the channel, working our way up to 50, so you guys are going to have to start sending me submissions on army factions you would like to see in online battles, in addition to what kind of army compositions would you like me to try out myself in online battles, and what you'd just like me to see from viewers submitted battles. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a epic 2 versus 2 under the new 1.3 DEI beta patch. This includes factions that have been completely overhauled in the beta. For instance, we have the Cimbri, played by my good friend Calogero, and Galatia, played by a username Krieg. Haven't watched too much about Krieg, but this will be interesting to see how he goes. Versus the Leugoz, aka one of the German factions, played by Johnny, who has been gracious enough to let me use his battle replay. And this battle isn't going to be overly competitive. You're not going to be seeing perhaps the best army compositions that these factions can field, or, you know, the most insane tactics. This battle is mainly just between members of the Caesars forum Discord, which I will link down below, and I have several times before, where many divided Impera players gather to try and organize online battles. You can also feel free to do so on my own personal Discord. But these guys are basically very long time players of DEI. They'll be doing a lot of online battles. I've covered many online battles with these players in them, and basically they're checking out the new beta. So if you do want to see what these factions are like in the new beta, this is probably going to be one of the best types of videos that you can look for, where you're seeing these factions fielding some of the better new troops that they have, and basically seeing how they are supposed to be played, at least if you want to do well in the new beta with them. Any questions that you have for me, please feel free to throw them down below. Mod list is in the description. Now I'll go ahead and just list all of the factions and their certain army compositions. I'm not going to go through and circle every single little one and point them out to you guys in the beginning, because that would be a very big time waster when we have 4 armies to cover. So let's get started with the Leugoz and the Irish. So let's start off with the Leugoz, everybody. Once again, played by my good friend Johnny the Dumpling. Link to his YouTube channel will be in the description below. He does his own DI content, so be sure to go over and say good day to him. He has 3 Helisi Assault Infantry, 4 Helvecones Clubmen, 5 Eastern Germanic Medium Spearmen, the late version, 3 times Eastern Germanic Pikemen, so 3 Eastern Germanic Pikes, 5 Eastern Germanic Noble Cavs, which is also including his general. You can see them up here along the rear over there. But that's it for the Leugoz. Let's go straight over to the Irish player, who is Astro Robin, member of the Caesars Forum Discord. I believe all members of this battle are. The Irish have 5 Retainer Spearmen, 2 Noble Swordsmen, 3 Irish Assault Infantry, 3 late Britannic Highland Archers, 2 Irish Painted Warriors, 2 Irish Light Cavalry, 2 Irish Noble Cav, and then the general is a Irish Noble Spearman. So first general that we're seeing that is an infantry unit. But that's it for both of their rosters. You can see that they're getting units basically that are from the new update and that are more dedicated to their faction, rather than having a united strategy. For example, the Germans are very spear heavy, with pikes in the second line as well, to try and hold back any kind of push for the enemy. Through their center from the enemies. The Irish are a lot more mobile, a lot more swordsmen. They do have some spearmen, but they are combined with swordsmen as well. You have some swordsmen right here, so going to be very interesting how they go. Let's go ahead and talk about the Galatians and the Cimbri, and then we'll get the battle started. Okay, everybody, here we are with the Galatians. Once again, this is played by Steam user Krieg. He is using 5 Galatian Furio Spears, 4 Galatian Swordsmen, 3 Galatian Slingers, 2 Galatian Axemen, 1 Galatian Chosen Swordsman, 1 Medium Cavalry Unit, and then he has 2 Cappadocian Cavalry Units and a General bodyguard Cavalry Unit for his bodyguard, for his General. So back to having a cavalry unit for his general. Going on to the Cimbri roster, which is played by my good friend Calogero. You guys, I'm sure, have heard his name many times in these online battles. He is going to be very interesting to watch because he loves trying out new strategies. So I expect a lot from my man Calogero. Anyway, he is using 2 Cimbri light riders, which is 2 cav units. Over on the right hand flank, he has 5 Cimbri heavy axemen, 2 Cimbri archers, 4 champions of Thunaros, which are a more of an assault heavy swordsman kind of unit, very powerful. 4 Cimbri wolf warriors, which are spearmen, 2 times Cimbri spearmen, which are just like pretty low tier spears. And then for his general, he has a Cimbri noble axeman unit. So again, we're back to having infantry. So it's kind of a little bit of a reflection going diagonal. So it's going to be interesting to see if these players end up paying for bringing infantry for their general's bodyguard units later on, or maybe it'll be a benefit. Who knows? But anyway, let's go ahead. We'll fast forward just a couple minutes until the armies begin engaging. But ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Alrighty, everybody, here we go. The armies are about to clash. All of them are kind of converging towards the center of the map. But now the Leugoz is swinging a little bit more towards Cimbri. Cimbri are going diagonal as well. Looks like them and the Galatians were trying to kind of two-time against the Irish a little bit, but the Leugoz push a little bit more forward has held the Cimbri back. A little bit of a disclaimer too, this is a 2 versus 2 with every army having around 5,000 men in them. So this is going to get pretty laggy. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that. While my computer is not the best and certainly needs upgrades, eventually once you just get so many men on the battlefield, your game's just going to lag in Total War Rome 2. The engine's quite old, game is old. It just is what it is, so apologies for that in advance, but that's why we'll be doing a lot of shots like these, where we're doing overview shots. But anyway, getting back into the battle, we have the Galatians and the Irish opening up first. There's some Galatian swordsmen, which are just cheap throwaway swords, 300 men each, backed up by the Galatian slingers. The Irish have their archers nearby as well, so Irish archers will do more damage to the slingers if they can get in range, which they can. That's interesting. A little bit of a perhaps miscalculation with the slingers. They're going to take some pretty heavy losses from those archers if they're not protected. Galatian swordsmen beaten back right here pretty easily. These guys aren't beating back yet, but they probably will be soon. On the left-hand flank, the Leugoz are actually sending Calogero a taste of his own medicine by charging their cavalry right across the front lines. You guys may remember in our last online battle, Calogero did that to me while I was playing as Galatia, him the Odrysian, so take that, Calogero, my man. Nah, a joke, but he is trying to respond with his very limited cavalry that are just skirmishing units, so that's not going to get too much done, but it's enough to kind of consider the Leugoz to pull back their units, and they will. Played once again by Johnny. I noticed that Johnny does play with his units in certain formations. Like right here, if you could spread out these units that are 300 men to be like way wider. So there must be reasoning for it. I would love to hear about it. I have to talk to him about that. But I have noticed that. Anyway, the Cimbri are now being engaged across the entire line by the Leugoz, and the Leugoz have dictated the terms of the charge. They have their spearmen going in first. They will lose, but they're going to soak up the charge of the Cimbri. So the Leugoz swordsmen and axemen and whatnot, like their assault infantry, which are a new unit as well, will have a better chance to come in, perhaps get some flanking charges, and just charge into the tired units. Looks like the axemen, the cavalry of the Leugoz are going to be trying to get some targets of opportunity there. Attack order coming in towards the gaps. Meanwhile, the Galatians and the Irish are in full swing. Their cavalry on the far right-hand side has been stuck in a grind-out fight for a little while now. And the Thurio spears of the Galatians are coming to help. So despite the Irish still having pretty substantial cavalry numbers, the Galatians are looking like they're going to get the upper hand. They have more cav in this fight, another spare cav nearby, and then they still have their spearmen that are coming in. So Galatians certainly going to come out on top there. We see in the distance the Galatians have a chariot unit that is coming in. I forgot to list that in their army comp. My apologies, but we will see how good the Galatian chariots can handle this. Oh, goodness gracious. Definitely not a little laggy there. Just even the animations can't play. You know, it's the game being very slow when even the animations are just like, nope. But that's okay. We're still seeing some pretty awesome tactics and engagements here, like the Galatian spearmen stopping the Irish spears from coming in to reinforce. I mean, it should basically end with the Irish cavalry being defeated. However, the main line of the Galatians is being crushed with the spear and sword combination of the Irish. Seems like the archers are still doing very well from the Irish, but the slingers of the Galatians are still around, although just barely. They've taken pretty severe losses. Surprise is still in the fight. Meanwhile, Cimbri, Leugoz, they're engaged across their entire front line. However, the cavalry of the Leugoz is still doing very well. Grouped up attack orders though, so it might be a little bit of a waste of manpower in some instances. When you do a group attack order, you have units kind of just pile in on the same spot, so I mean, it can be bad, but it's also easier to micromanage, of course. Cimbri cavalry coming in. They charging? Nah. They're just looking to do some skirmish damage to the cavalry. Very nice move by Calogero. I see him picking up his skirmishing skills. Looks like the Cimbri main line is starting to shatter through the Leugoz. Despite the Leugoz doing very well with their cavalry in that initial charge. I think the Cimbri Axemen, yeah, they're just chomping through. Cimbri Heavy Axemen are a unit that has excellent armor piercing, 300 men per unit, armor of 20, attack of 9, defense of 10. Very, very strong unit. Very cost effective. The champions of Thuneros look like they're a fantastic sword, doing very well with their kills as well. Yeah, I think the Leugoz are going to end up losing that engagement. However, the Irish are certainly winning the majority of the engagement against the Galatians. Although we do have the chariots coming in now. The Irish are a perfect faction for the Galatians to use their chariots against. We could see them running into them right there. Getting crushed. Yeah, they lost, what, 50 men? Almost 100 men killed by those Galatians, so not bad at all. However, Irish archers are still around. I don't think they've taken any damage. No, they've lost just a handful of men, hardly any. So those archers are definitely going to do some damage to that chariot. Yeah, look, they've done like barely a full volley. We've already taken out 5 men, which is at least a couple chariots worth. However, like I said earlier, the Irish cavalry engagement is not going well. They've lost their cav advantage. So now the Galatians, despite losing the infantry battle, do have some infantry coming back from routing in the far distance there. That unit should come back as well. And the Irish cavalry has been obliterated. So, starting to look like Galatians and Cimbri might have the advantage. Back to the Cimbri and Leugoz. Yeah, Leugoz look like they're kind of on the back foot, which is a little silly in my opinion, because they had so much cavalry. 5 units of very, very strong cav. The Eastern Germanic Noble cav is an excellent mid to heavy tier cav unit, and they're not really. Let's just pause real quick to look at their kills, because it doesn't seem like they're being used all that well. Again, not that this is the most competitive match in the world. These guys are just testing out the new units. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of group attack orders and hardly any kills for them. The most, it seems to be about 30. These Halisi assault infantry are routing at 240 men and they only have 92 kills? What? Why are they routing? I guess the Cimbri light cav did come in and recharge. That's surprising. I thought the Leugoz would have done a fair bit better, to be honest, but they're not. Although Irish infantry are coming in now. They've smashed the Galatians. The Galatians do have more troops out here, but they're trying to be entangled with these archers and spearmen. Gotta protect those archers. That will be the downfall of the chariots if they're allowed to fire their volleys, which it seems like they are, man. Chariots are just so freaking fragile, guys. I really don't enjoy using them myself. Typically, I do need to give them a better chance. I know I talk a lot of crap about them, but it kind of looks like both of the Leugoz and Irish player understand that they need to focus on the Cimbri player right now, but Leugoz are falling apart. Down to just, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in the center. Another unit's coming back from routing, so that's helpful, but they've lost well over half their army now. Irish coming in, still have a decent amount of units, but they're splitting up their army. And their troops should be tired by now, so I don't know, it's still anyone's game at this point. 9 minutes left in the battle. Pretty epic battle so far, though. I'm very excited to see how these factions deal with their rosters. The Irish are now a force to be reckoned with, considering they have actually very good troops now. Before the patch, they were pretty subpar. In fact, I would argue quite bad. But the majority Barbarian factions are now very viable, very solid. Ooh, here comes a possibly deadly charge from the chariots, but they want to waver. 46 men left. What? That's Barbarian morale for you there, man. They should get a lot of kills right here. Is this unit gonna plummet? Yeah. Light swordsmen of the Irish getting rear charged by chariots. The chariots are routing though. How ridiculous. They're still not even down to half strength and those chariots want out of here. Man, what a shame. How many kills did the chariots get before they routed? 170. Man, they should have got a lot more than that. That's rough. I mean, I guess the Galatians might have lost their general? Did they? Yeah, it looks like they did. So I guess that's why the morale is quite low. Irish units are actually holding out excellently out here. That's super impressive. The Galatians are getting reinforcements coming in from routing, but that's actually really funny that the Irish are still lasting despite the Galatian cavalry advantage. Galatians have essentially lost their cav by now. They have one more unit out here there, which is pretty weak. Cimbri still have one of their cavalry units. Do they have the second one? I don't see it. Doesn't look like it, no. So, I mean, Leugoz and Irish might be able to bring it back. I thought the Cimbri were going to smash the Leugoz, but their higher tier units are just holding out just barely in these little pockets. Cimbri troops are getting like clumped up. Not really completely surrounding like they could have potentially. Oh, that should be a deadly charge by the Cimbri light cav. Yeah. Getting a one unit routed from the Leugoz. Wow, the spearmen won't rout though. Instead, they're charging right into the cavalry. Cimbri, oh man, it's still pretty up in the air, at least from my point of view. These attack orders need to hurry up. Come on in. The Leugoz and Irish little confederation here are going to be able to hold them off. Like this unit here needs to be charging. It's just sitting there. Gotta be faster. These units attack, flank around. They're kind of just walking into each other. I mean, it's very hard to micromanage all of this, so definitely not being critical. Just saying that they could be getting a lot better results. But it's so hard to do in a 1v1, let alone a 2 versus 2 like this. Irish forces out here have finally been defeated. Not the entire army, just the contingent that was left behind. Although the Irish general looks like he's about to rout and then probably die. And these slingers are still around. How? Man, they should have been annihilated already. That's very unlucky for the Irish player. They just lost a massive amount of their troops over there. Oh, wow. Okay. Irish player just took a massive hit. I'm really surprised he didn't do better after seeing so many of those troops holding out for a long time. Looks like the Cimbri player is about to lose these men. No, he's down to 3 units here. There's a couple more over there, although they're quite far away. Yeah. Looks like the Cimbri player might lose his army here shortly. His general is right here. Getting surrounded. Man, what a fantastic looking unit. What is the name of this swordsman? Cimbri Noble Axeman is the general. How gorgeous is that armor? Oh my goodness. Of course, all of these factions will be receiving faction overviews or redone faction overviews where necessary by your man, Measureholic. Be working on those in the coming weeks and months. It's going to take a long time to get all the faction overviews done, but we're definitely going to have to redo them all, at least all the Barbarian ones. So Leugoz are now the main protector of the Irish Leugoz alliance. They're going to have to form off a battle line pretty soon, take on the Galatians who are coming their way. This swordsman unit needs to be isolated. These Leugoz Cav need to come out and finish it off before it links up with its allies. Yeah, Cimbris are wiped out now, except for this one unit. I mean, that's an easy kill finish off for the Leugoz, but they're instead marching forward towards the Galatians really quickly. Bit of a mistake in my opinion. I would prefer to see them line up first and then slowly march forward, but instead they're kind of just rushing forward. You can see the movement orders up here, these yellow markers by the players. They're very focused on fighting up ahead. I mean, I would have used the cavalry to take out this unit and then just very slowly form off a battle line to take on the Galatians, because I mean, it's looking slightly in favor of the Leugoz and Irish, but it's still kind of anyone's game. 2 units of cavalry left here by the Galatians, a third one over here that's on the brink of routing. Slingers, which will be very instrumental potentially. Spearmen, 1 sword unit. Like, look at these guys, they're taking hits for no reason. Just got way too close. And it's not like the slingers are hidden. We're seeing the perspective of the Leugoz player. Yeah. Man, that's so risky in this late part of the game to let your cav get hit. Cimbri unit's kind of just chilling now, so it shouldn't be. I mean, it shouldn't really affect the battle that much, but it could. I mean, the Galatians and Leugoz could have like started fighting right here, getting a grand out fight, and then at the very end, these guys could have ran in. They still can. We don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me being a little picky about it. What is this formation that we see? Let's do a little bit of fast forwarding. Looks like we have a layered formation here. Okay. I'm assuming that's intentional. Very interesting options here. Keeping his cavalry back though. Much better. Gotta protect him. Gotta keep that Leugoz general alive. If he dies, then the hopes of the Leugoz die with him. Seeing the slingers target the phalanx infantry, the pikemen. I understand why, but I would instead focus on the swords, the high damaging units, like the Halisi infantry. I would rather see that. Oh wait, maybe that isn't the pikemen. I know it is. It is a pikeman. They're just their pikes aren't the length of the standard sarissa. Off you go, gentlemen. Oh, they're out of pike formation. They're trying to charge. Trying to stop the Galatians from getting away because it looks like they just want to pull out. Meanwhile, Galatian cavalry is coming in on the right flank of the Leugoz. Gotta be very careful. Here comes the charge. Spears versus swords. This is the Galatian axemen, actually, sorry, versus the late spearmen. Oh, what is this? Oh, look at this move with the Leugoz cav. Oh, what are you gonna do, man? Oh, charging right into the Galatian general. Wah, bam. Uh-oh, Galatian general pops down his intimidate perk. Cannot use. Oh. The Galatians are on the brink of routing. The unit's gone. Their general is gone. It has to be over now, surely. Yep, the Galatians are down to just their slingers. And after seeing the Galatian general rout off the battlefield, they actually end up losing, and the Leugoz and the Irish take the win. GG's to Johnny, who was playing as the Leugoz, and Astra Robin playing as the Irish. Mad props to you guys. Let's very quickly go over the statistics and then we'll end it there. Here we are at the statistics screen. Wow, what an interesting battle. A conglomerate of the 1.3 0.3 factions that were overhauled, so that's been really entertaining to watch. We have a lot of the new gorgeous unit cards. The Axemen are looking delicious, Swordsmen looking sick. Very, very nice. I love that Axe unit as well. Just overall, very interesting battle. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. We can kind of see some of the trends of these armies, where they had their strengths and weaknesses. I mean, this is just the first initial battle. But for example, the Irish, looking at the skirmishes, they're actually very helpful. Getting triple digits with archers in any faction is usually a nice thing, but for the Irish, that's actually very good. Combining that with their new assault infantry that they have and their high level swordsmen, pretty fantastic results overall. Their painted warriors, wow, 329 kills. That is disgusting for such a lightly armored unit, aka no armored unit. But yeah, the Irish did really, really well overall. Just looking briefly at their kills, over 3,000 people were killed by the Irish. They had the highest kills out of all these factions, and the Leugoz coming in with actually the lowest kills at 2,100. Still isn't bad, but that's quite surprising. Galatians coming in with the second lowest at 2,435, and then the Cimbri at 2,492. So that's very interesting. But yeah, it seems to be that the Irish performed the best overall, although they did end up losing almost the highest amount of troops. I think that's pretty understandable, to be honest. They had to split their army in two towards the midsection and later section of the battle, so it's not all that surprising. The Leugoz, their pikemen actually did relatively well on kills. Their assault infantry were kind of disappointing. We'll probably need to see them do a little bit better. Their clubmen got very few kills, weren't really all that efficient, so probably could be replaced with a different unit in that particular army composition. Spearmen overall did pretty solid, definitely not disappointing at all. The cavalry though, 5 units of cav, including the general admittedly. 2 of them did great, 170, 194 kills. That is exactly what these high level units of cav should be getting in these barbarian battles, but the others just did not perform. The Irish cavalry was also quite disappointing. It's the only real downfall of the Irish was their cav, but that's also to be expected, to be honest. The Galatians, on the other hand, their cavalry, some of them did amazing, 470 kills with the Cappadocian Lancers. That is really, really excellent. However, 45 kills for one of their cav units, not good enough. 182 for the chariots isn't terrible, but considering how expensive these bad boys are, nowhere near what it should be. That should have been around 582. And then we might say it's cost effective. Even then, these chariots cost so much and they're so fragile. You guys saw how easily they routed off the field. So definitely not amazing with the Galatian cav. The rest of the Galatian roster was okay. Their swordsmen, I've tried to use these guys myself, which you guys have probably seen, and I got wrecked with them. Seems to be the same case here, so perhaps not as many swordsmen are needed, maybe only 2, because they still have 300 men per unit, so you can stretch them out, get similar results probably. Furio spears did excellent. Slingers of the Galatians did pretty poor, especially considering they were alive until the literally last final moments of the battle. So these guys should have had way more kills. I'm kind of surprised on that. Rest of the Galatian roster was okay. Axemen fine. Sword unit was it was okay. Cimbri though, cavalry, 1 unit didn't do good, the other did very, very good, especially considering they were both pretty light. They're bottom tier Cimbri cav, and they did okay when you combine their results. General did fantastic, 250 kills, that's what you want from a noble Axeman unit. These swordsmen though, mixed results. Kind of depends on their charge and how they interact with the enemy, so fair enough, understandable. We have the Wolf Warriors here, which is the Spearmen. I know this unit down here is the one that's actually wearing the wolf on top of the head, but these guys are not the Wolf Warriors. They are the, what's it called, Champions of Thunaros. Meanwhile, these guys are the Wolf Warriors. Spearmen actually did quite good. Getting triple digits on multiple spears is nice. The Champions of Thunaros, aka the higher level Axemen, did pretty fantastic. Might have expected maybe some more kills, but getting high triple digits is pretty solid for them. 200 plus. you're doing pretty good. This unit could have done a bit better. Cimbri archers, not doing very well, didn't really contribute a lot, and I didn't see any flaming shot come out of them, so they didn't really route any units off the field. Not good enough. And then the Cimbri spearman, one unit did fantastic, and the other, not really, but 50 kills is what I would expect for such a poor low tier unit. Overall, all of the armies had their interesting aspects. I think the Irish are definitely probably one of the best army compositions out of this fight. It's just that cavalry let them down there, so if they had perhaps better cav or better support for the cavalry, then they could have done a lot better, but they were kind of left on their own. Yeah, really interesting to see these guys battle. I really appreciate everybody involved in the online in the battle for today. So once again, massive shout out to Johnny for supplying me with the battle replay. Link to his YouTube channel will be down below, as will be a Discord link to the Caesars Forum Discord, where this battle and many other Divided Impera online battles are organized daily. So be sure to go ahead and check it out. The folks over there, very kind, very friendly, and welcoming to experienced newer Divided Impera players, and just Rome 2 players as well. They do have vanilla Rome 2 battles if you're interested to know. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.